Hey YouTube, what's up? My name is Tara. Some people call me Mama Sage. For those of you who are new here, I have about 4.5 years in a 12-step recovery program, and my goal is essentially to educate people who are family members or friends of alcoholics or addicts and help them understand a little bit more about what this life is like and offer hope to those of you who are in recovery or are trying to get into recovery and are just really struggling, because I want you guys to know that there is hope and that you can change your whole life. Because today I live a life that's far beyond anything that I ever could have imagined for myself. For those of you who are returning subscribers, thank you for coming back and hanging out with me for another episode of Tara Was a Mess. I've got a lot of really cool videos planned, so let's get into this one. So today we're going to talk about why I didn't get addicted to heroin. I have tried just about every drug on the planet. I don't want anyone to think that I believe that what I was doing was cool, because it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't cool at all. I thought that it was cool at the time, but obviously in retrospect, it didn't serve my higher purpose. Well, maybe it did, because now I'm sharing stuff like this with you guys. But if I could do it all over again, I might change things, because who doesn't want to go back and get a do-over on things that they realize that they mucked up pretty bad, you know? So when I tried heroin for the first time, I was working at a restaurant. I waited tables back then. It was before I started cooking for a living. And I was working at this one particular restaurant, and I had gotten kind of close with this girl who was a hostess. And I knew that she did heroin. I found out about it maybe 2 or 3 weeks before I tried it. I don't think it was that long. So this one night, she and a girlfriend come over to my apartment where I was living with baby daddy, and she had black tar, and I had some Coke, and we traded, and I puddled black tar in a spoon and snorted it with a McDonald's straw. So everything felt like being stoned, but more relaxed. It was like weed times 5. I don't know. It was just this warm, floaty, fluid kind of feeling. I don't know how else to describe it. I don't think that there's any other way to really explain it. Like maybe floating in a heated swimming pool would be close. You just feel nice and relaxed. So baby daddy didn't know that I used that night at all, because things between he and I had gotten to the point where I wasn't being honest with him about what I was doing, because he didn't work. And so I'm like, well, I'm not gonna keep sharing, my money, because I'm out here working and you're staying home and refuse to get a job. So I'm gonna fund my habit. So I just didn't tell him anything, and he didn't notice, wasn't paying attention. I don't know. So then this friend and her friend left, and we go throughout that week and everything's cool, right? I think that they came over like on a Friday or Saturday night, maybe. So then the following weekend, I was working a double both days, I believe. But I know for sure that it was one weekend evening. So baby daddy was having a bad day, and he knew that this girlfriend of mine used H, and he said that he had never tried it, and he just wanted to feel better, feel different, you know. So I got in contact with her, and she came up to my apartment, and I feel like he and I took her, no, I rode with her and her friend. He stayed home, and she and I went to this guy's house I think he lived in a trailer park, if I remember correctly. And I just remember like sitting out in the car for, I swear, what had to have been an hour or something. And I'm like, is she like hooking up with him for extra, or like what's going on? But she was in there for like forever. And so, like I told her up front, I was like, look, like I'll get you 2 balloons, I'll get me 2 balloons, and then I'll get him 2 balloons. That way each of us has our own, you know? And that way, like, hopefully she wouldn't be taking mine, you know, because you know how we are. We're always just trying to get more, you know. I want a bigger piece of the pie. But I was trying to do like the right thing because, you know, or what I felt was the right thing at the time, because I felt like she was hooking me up, so I should hook her up, right? So she comes back out, and you know, she gets in the car and we head back to my apartment, and we hang out for a while and we get all messed up, and then, you know, a few hours later we go to bed, and I get up in the morning and I've got to work another double. So whenever I wake up, I think I felt pretty much fine whenever I woke up. But as I started getting the restaurant set up for the shift, for lunch, it was probably around 10 o'clock, I think, whenever we opened. So around that time, I was starting to feel crappy. And I thought that I was getting the flu and my period at the same time, because I was vomiting and I was cramping, and I just felt like crap in general. And about an hour later, I realized that I was going through withdrawal. Okay. So my girlfriend gets to work because she's working lunch shift. And I'm like, dude, I'm like sick. And she was like, well, yeah, what did you think was going to happen? And I was like, I don't know. I've never done this before. And I was 20 at the time. I think I was 20, maybe 21. 21. Definitely. And I just remember feeling like everything hurt. And so I start thinking to myself, I'm like, whew, like if this is what withdrawal feels like off of opiates, whenever I only had like $10 worth one time, and then $20 about a week out from that, then imagine what withdrawal feels like for someone who has like $100 a day or more habit. I just couldn't even imagine what withdrawal must be like for someone in that situation. I had seen someone in withdrawals before, but I'd never experienced it myself. And this person that I saw in withdrawal, I don't know how much he was doing. He was an older guy. I don't have any idea, you know, kind of really what was going on. All I know is that he was an older guy who lived at a different apartment complex that we had lived at previously, and that baby daddy was friends with him. They were like drinking buddies and stuff. So I didn't have any experience. And the people in my family were alcoholics. But we didn't have any addicts at that time. Certainly not active. And I knew that, that there were people in my family who had used drugs. I wasn't the only one, but I don't know that any of them ever got to where I was. I don't know. I think I have an uncle, and maybe he did. I know he struggled, but for the most part, I think it was just me. So I can't tell you how much I feel for you if you're struggling with any kind of opiate, because that was no joke. And actually, come to think of it, I've seen a lot of people in withdrawal from heroin and pills, because I was working at this adult rehab center for a while, and I think I worked like very closely with the patients, monitoring them for about a month and a half, and then I transitioned over to an administrative position for the rest of my time there. But whenever I was working with these clients that were coming in, and I was with them on a daily basis, I was working 312s as a treatment assistant, and they would be so sick. I mean, couldn't get out of bed sick. You could smell it coming out of their pores, like you could smell the heroin coming off of them. And they would have to shower, and they've got the sweats, and it's just like, even a couple of days, even like 3 or 4 days after they came in, they still smelled like heroin coming out of their pores. I hope that this gives you a little bit of insight into my thought process. I know that I'm not the only person who tried heroin and had withdrawals like that and then just didn't touch it again. I know that I'm not the only one. For those of you who've gotten caught up in that cycle, of trying to not be sick, I'm so sorry that you're going through that right now. I'm so sorry that this had to be a part of your path. And if there's anything I can do to help, please reach out. If you guys have any questions, comments, I'd love to hear from you. Tell me about your experience. Drop me a line or two in the comment section below. Of course, as always, I'm going to put some links for resources in the description box. And yeah, until next time.